everybody. Welcome back to Record-ology. Okay, today, for your entertainment, I am presenting to you this, the AudioTronics 304a Schoolroom Classroom record player. I've had my eye on getting one of these for some time, and they are nostalgic, very nostalgic. They're built like tanks. AudioTronics was one of the top three. Caliphone, Newcomb were the other two. There's other players as well. But if you had one of these, growing up in school, which you probably did, up until the early to mid 1980s, then this will look fairly familiar. Built like a tank, not sexy at all, designed to be rugged, metal corners, and literally made of metal, wood, and very durable Bakelite type plastics. And stand the test of time. They're 40 plus years later, sometimes 60 years later, still in functioning condition. This one supposedly works really good. This is going to be an ongoing journey, us taking a look at this, because I invested in this so we could, really enjoy it over the coming weeks and months and discover more about it, take a deeper dive. This is only the first of many. It's the 304a. So this is a early 80s iteration, which may surprise you. Looking at it, you may say, oh, that's 60s. But the straight tone arm, this head shell, those are the giveaways. Plus, I just know the 304a. Very common model. Apparently a sort of an introductory level product for the company. And but really, really cool. And this is, I'm going to hold this up so you guys can see it. It is idler drive, so neither belt nor direct drive. It plays 4 speeds, so 78, 45, 33, and 16 RPM, which is awesome. That means that we'll be able to play Sebergs on this, radio transcriptions, and all that good stuff. Also, and I'm going to show you up close a little bit later, it does have a flip stylus, which is in good condition, so micro groove and wide groove, so for like 78s. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I literally just brought this in the house. So what I'm going to do next is disinfect it, clean it up, and we'll give it a sound test together. I really want you guys to experience this with me, and I'm super excited. Now, for me personally, I think I remember seeing these like early days for me, like, oh, look at this, made in Mexico. That's really interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that. When I grew up in the 80s in school, I primarily remember like telex, blue and white headphones, and Caliphone type tape players. And I think I remember seeing these like maybe first, second grade, kindergarten, but mostly it was cassettes by the time I was in school in the 80s. But this is a supposedly late 80s model. The company was based in North Hollywood, California. They are long gone. Their products came out as early as 1960, I believe, and up through the mid 80s, and then they kind of disappeared after that. So if you guys know anything about AudioTronics, please let me know. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning this bad boy. And once I get it all cleaned up, disinfected, we'll test it out. Okay, so I cleaned it off, kind of an initial clean. I got in every one of those dots with a little tool. I used paper towels, I used silk cloths. It was dusty, had some stains here and there. Everything went pretty good. I did wipe the date code off in that white section there, but before I wiped it off, I saw that it was 12 of 86. So that dates this. This is very much then at the end of the line for AudioTronics. This might have been one of their last units. Got the tone arm pretty well cleaned up there. And the stylus is a flip stylus, so we can do 78s or LPs. I think I mentioned that. I have the knobs off for cleaning, although one of the knobs doesn't engage right, so you still have to manually turn it. Only output is the headphone jack. You can pause it there so the teacher can explain things without having to lift the stylus, because there's no cueing lever. When I was cleaning it, I accidentally wiped it a little bit raw here. There was like some scab looking nasty. I'd rather have this than what was on there. And the other thing is I took an alcohol-based cleaner to this, which smeared the text a little bit. I was trying to get that stain off. But besides that, I think it's successful. It's pretty dang clean. Let's see if I can get you guys in here. It's got a 6x9 speaker. There's one circuit board over there to the left. And that's really all there is to the inside. I do want to take off the platter and show you how the drive mechanism works though. And if it looks wet, that's because it is. So I use a little E-clip here, just like a suitcase player. That way you can carry this around and it doesn't harm anything. So there we go. So the platter itself is just hollow. It's got this ingenious sort of built-in 45, just like my Fisher-Price player does. And then that is the drive mechanism. So that is called an idler wheel. And basically it's a rubber tire on a wheel that spins the inside of this. So it's pretty common whenever you see a speed control like this, or one that has a major ka-chunk action like this one does. So you can see it kind of move into position depending on the speed. And that's pretty much it. That's what drives it. It's pretty simple. The inside of this is pretty hollow. As you can see, it's pretty dusty here still. So I'm going to continue cleaning it, put the wheel back on, and we'll give it a test. So I thought I'd let you see a close-up of the idler wheel while I've got this open. I'm still trying to go through there and sort of detail out some of this gunk. Overall, though, it's pretty clean. The grease is old. See some of the orange leftover grease. It needs to be re-greased at some point down the road, but for today, I think it'll be fine. But basically, this is the drive shaft. So this pole right here is where all the power is applied. And then when you change speeds, it moves the tire or the idler wheel to different positions along that drive shaft. And it's a gear ratio thing at that point. So the speed is going to be very consistent. So there's 78. So the biggest position there, and then 45 is the next step up, 33, and then 16. So anyway, that's how she works. While I had the hood open, so to speak, I went ahead, sprayed some electric cleaner stuff, best $4 you'll ever spend from Walmart. On the volume knob, worked that in, and the on and off switch as well. Then I took some very carefully applied penetrating lubricant to basically where I saw that there was grease there, keeping it off of the idler wheel because we want there to be traction on that. So we are ready to place this back. Fits down snugly, and we put our E-clip, which we've already lost, in place right there, and then we really are ready to test. I promise I'm not trying to stall for the test. You keep coming across stuff I forgot about. I love equipment that had the cord sort of wrapped up in there like that, and there's just like an angled piece of fiberboard that protects this opening here from the main section there. So yeah, overall I'd say the cleaning went good. I didn't damage too much stuff in the process. I did get the cloth stuck on the stylus, which is like the stupidest mistake you can make. But still, yeah, that happened. But okay, now we really are ready to test. I promise. Unless I come across something else I want to talk about too. But no, this time really, we're going to test. It's going to take me years to probably fully clean this. So we are ready to go. And a couple of things I want to mention. Innovation-wise, Schoolroom tech is amazing. I'm going to leave these knobs off for now. One of them is missing a little piece, so this on and off you have to do manually until I fix that. And the volume one works fine, but they're still a little damp. So I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to have to keep cleaning it as we go, but I've got it really clean compared to what it was. I mean, it really looks brand new in a lot of aspects. It's covered in like this vinylite sort of Naugahyde material. The colors to me are very reminiscent of, you know, this is the 80s, right? Brown and tan, everything. So yeah, I'm excited. The innovations are cool. Look at this. It's got this little plastic guard here so you can't drop the stylus until it reaches the record. I think that's genius. And yeah, let's go ahead and turn it on. And we are barreling down at 78 RPM. Let's flip it down to 45. I'm going to do a test with a junk record to begin with. I put it on pause. Got a junk record on here, so to speak. It's not really a junk record, but if something bad happens to this, I won't be too upset. We are on the LP stylus. I'm going to place this down gently, and here we go. Ooh, it's loud. Really loud. Oh, that's amazing. The guy told me it was really loud, and he was not joking. Sounds pretty good, sounds pretty good. So loud. I like the pause feature. That's really, really cool. All right, next, now that we know that it's at least in partially working condition, let's go ahead and put on a kid's record. This is that Pink Panther Jungle Safari, 33 RPM. So I'm gonna switch it back here. Let me zoom in a little bit here just to change it up a bit for you. Place the stylus ever so gently. This is either handled by the teacher or by the nerdy AV assistant, which would be somebody like myself. Helps if it's on, yeah? Hello. Okay. What did I do wrong? It's on. It's on pause. That's okay, there we go. Go down to 45. Go down to 33. Okay, cool. I don't know what I did wrong there.
When the Pink Panther reached a clearing in the thick jungle, he saw one of the world's most unusual animals, the giraffe. Giraffes, with their long necks and legs, can grow as tall as 30 feet.
That's kind of what I would expect them to be playing. Got to use these controls. The volume switch is not the on and off switch. It does have a headphone output, which is kind of interesting. 10 watt output, so you can line output this into something else. Yeah, the sound quality is, you know, schoolroom grade. It's harsh, it's loud, it's bright, but you know, I'm really excited about the fact that this does 16 RPM because I am able to finally play radio transcriptions and Seebergs. And if you remember, we've talked about Seebergs before, they rotate at 16 RPM. So I'm super excited to be able to play these now. But I want to clean the stylus and give you guys a close look at that stylus too before I chance it on this record. Okay, so it's hard to do this on this particular camera, so bear with me, but we are going to, as gently as possible, dip our stylus here in the stylus gel, which will pull off anything major. And then this does have a flip cartridge, so you can rotate it and play 78s, which we're going to do as well. So just gently touch it in 3 different places. By the way, those can be, these gel cleaners, as you can see, this one is well loved, can be cleaned just by running it under warm water. Available from Hudson Hi-Fi. A Seeberg record uses somewhere between a micro groove stylus and a 78 stylus. So I want to be on the safe side. I'm going to go with the LP micro groove stylus and switch this to 16 RPM, and I'm super excited to play this 16 RPM Seeberg. Here we go. Also the tone knob right here. Okay, that's awesome. I cannot wait to play around with that more. That is just super, super cool. Okay, and finally for today, and again, this is going to keep going and keep going, I want to play a 78 because we have that 78 stylus and I want to test it out. By the way, one way you can tell when it comes to idler drive, the big thing is traction between that idler wheel and the platter. And so you don't want it to slip. You don't want any flat sides, flat edges in there. You don't want the rubber to become brittle. So one way to test that yours is in good shape, that's on 78, quite faster than 16. But is to just gently kind of touch it. And if you feel just a little bit of pressure making it skip or drag, then you know you've got an issue. This one has great pliable rubber and it looks like I'm not going to have to worry about that, thankfully. All right, and then finally here, just to test out the 78 capability, we are on 78 stylus. We're going to listen to a little Glenn Miller, of course, guys. This is a Bluebird original. So before we play the 78, I want to show you the difference between what a micro groove stylus sounds like on a 78 versus an actual 78 wide groove stylus. So here we go. Here's the micro groove. Not bad. You hear a little bit of that noise. Then we're going to flip it around here and try it with the wider groove stylus. You can hear those frequencies like 15 hertz to 20 hertz are a lot more defined, a lot more rich sound. It is copyright music. I still can't, even though it's a 78. I know you guys are like, what? Why can't you play that? Well, guess what? This music is still copyrighted. So anyway, there you go, guys. This is exciting. I'm so happy to have this. One of the first videos I ever saw when I was thinking about starting this channel was a YouTuber that was playing a Glenn Miller record on a Caliphone Schoolroom record player. And I just thought that was so cool. I loved it. It's super industrial, super, institutional looking, completely different than what most turntables look like that we're, reviewing on this channel. And that's why I thought it would be fun to look at. These were, sold by the ton in surplus after the 80s. And like I said, 1986 is very late for one of these. So I would say that the more recent ones are going to be probably in better condition. Some of the old ones are going to have tubes and things. This is completely transistorized, of course, at this point. But you can pick these up for anywhere from 40 to 50, 60 bucks. The biggest thing is when you're buying online is shipping. So they're heavy, so that's the downside. But they're out there because, they sold them in surplus, by the thousands. So what was once government property can now be yours for as low as $40. And it's just cool if you guys want something unique. But if you really want to do something that will allow you to play transcription discs and things that have that 16 RPM speed, this is key. And this is probably the most affordable way to get into something like that. So anyway, that's going to do it for today, guys. Happy record hunting. We will see you tomorrow.